remember it clear as day. I was in the living room just dancing around to that song, watching the music video on the TV, and just wanting to do everything she was doing, the singing, the dancing. I loved it. Ever since that video, I was like, that's it, that's the one.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. And so where do you feel like music has taken you now in your 22 years?
So I think I had a bit of a slow start. Obviously, I'd done a lot of education first. I'd done a lot of professional training. It's only actually recently that I've been able to focus on my own personal stuff. So it's only recently that I've been able to put like 100% of my time into it. And at the moment, I've learned that the more time I put in, the further it gets me quicker. So
Mm.
I'm at that place where I'm just working as hard as I can so I can reach my goal quicker.
So what is your goal in the music industry? What is the it thing for you? How do you define success?
I am determined to get into the charts. I want to be in the top 10. It's as simple as that. I want to be in the top 10, and I want to tour. I'd love to have my own tour someday.
Oh, sweet, sweet.
Aiming high.
Why How far do you think you are from that goal?
God, it's hard to tell, isn't it? Because something could come up tomorrow out of the blue, or it could be years to come. But I think at this moment in time, I think I've got a lot of work in. I've got a lot to do to work on myself as an artist before I actually reach that goal.
Okay, okay. What are some of the sacrifices that you feel that it takes to be successful in the industry?
um I've always been told to have a backup plan, just in case the music doesn't go right. So if it doesn't go right, then I could become a teacher, or I could go into sport or do something different, completely different. And I haven't got a backup plan. So I haven't got a choice really. I've got to get there some way. So
So when you look at, the industry, are you working with producers now? Are you doing everything independently? Do you play instruments? Talk with us a little bit about
So I'm currently working with a producer at the moment. I have just finished my first track on my EP, which is going to be released next summer.
that.
Which I'm so happy with. I literally I said to my producer, I was like, can we just release it now? Because I'm so happy with it. But you got to build up the promotion and the advertisement for it. But I'm not patient. I just want to release it now because I'm so happy with it.
Okay. Now, how hard was it for you to find the right producer? Because you look at a lot of independent musicians and trying to find the right producer who understands your sound. What has that challenge
So I've worked this particular producer. I've worked with for I've known him for a few years now. It was when I first started recording as an artist. I was about oh no, I must have been about 18, 19. And he just sort of you got to find the producer that understands what you're going for, and he just got the vibe I wanted straight away. You give your producer like artists that you want to sort of be inspired by, and he was able to understand exactly what I wanted. And there's producers that I've worked with that haven't been able to grasp that straight away, and it's been a bit difficult, and you sort of rule out who you want to work with and who you don't quite quickly. So it's the connection. You've really got to have a good connection with your producer for them to be able to work with you well.
So when you think about your sound, who do a lot of people compare you to, and then what actually are you trying to achieve with your sound?
So I've been told it's like a Zara Larsson sort of vibe. So it's very summery, my music. I like it all to be upbeat. I got a vision. I want people to be blasting my music with roof down in a convertible car with the sun beaming down, like just that sort of really nice chill vibe. Um so like Kygo sort of vibe, Kygo Zara Larsson sort of vibe. Yeah, that's what I'm aiming for.
Okay, okay, I can dig it. I can dig it. Songwriting, that's actually how I got initiated into the industry. I said I'm a songwriter, but now what
Yeah,
am I going to do to be able to learn what to do once you've written that song? How am I going to find somebody to sing it and all that type of stuff?
yeah.
What is the songwriting process like for you? Do they just roll off the top of your head, or Is it a
Um,
mantra that you go through?
I was actually talking to someone about this yesterday, funnily enough. So it really depends on the situation. If I've already been given a backing track from a producer that they want vocals for, it's I don't know. Something comes to me pretty quickly. Like I'll listen to a track and I'll be like, right, that's a good melody. Let's pop that in, and then I'll keep it in because usually I'll forget it straight away otherwise because I've got such a bad memory. So I'm like, as soon as I come up with a melody, that's it. I'm using that. Um, Whereas if it's like start from scratch, I'll tend to write a poem. I don't know if that's like a normal way of songwriting, but I'll tend to write a poem first, and then I'll sort of put some chords with it and see what works. Probably change the structure around a bit because it's never perfect when I write a poem and then turn it into a song.
I can totally understand that. Do you consider yourself to be a perfectionist when it comes to
Oh
songwriting, really anal, or are you easy on yourself?
no, I'm a perfectionist, and it's awful. I really shouldn't be. I'm so hard on myself.
Social media wise, how do you like that monster trying to get people to plug in and tune in to your music?
So it's been difficult recently. I've literally just finished my studies, so I wasn't able to post consistently on my social media, and that's the key. You've really got to be posting as much as you can, especially your own original work, and that's something I'm aiming to do at the moment, is to constantly keep my followers updated with my latest work, some covers. I've also recently just started posting on my YouTube channel, so I'm going to be doing that weekly and collabing with other people. Um, I I used to keep up to date with TikTok. I think I think you'd be familiar with that app at the moment.
Yeah, that seems to be pretty popular.
It
With
is,
my
it's
kids,
huge.
they
But
love it.
I was on it when it was Musically, so I don't know if it was that popular back then, but I done
Kind
pretty
of,
well.
sort of, but not as popular. Nowhere near as popular as it is now.
No, it's completely blown up, but yeah, I think I need to be consistent with social media, so that's what I'm starting to do now that my studies are finished.
So, two questions. One, what were you studying? And then two, how do you cultivate the right content? Because that's what I struggle with. Like, what should I post? Because sometimes what you see other people post or similar to it seems to generate a lot of likes and a lot of viewership. Whereas an independent person, when you post it, you maybe get like a few people, plugging in.
Yeah, I completely understand. So, I've just got my degree in music industry practice.
Mm.
So well, as long as my grades come back okay, I will have a music degree. So fingers crossed for that. But with content, I used to be really strict about what I'd post. So I'd always post what other people were posting at the time, and I'd be like, right, mine's got to look good. It's got to be perfect. I've got to have the caption right. And recently, I wouldn't say I've become lazy, but I'm not as keen to make it exactly the same as everyone else's. So I don't know if, like, say if you'll watch my stories on my Instagram, sometimes I'll just post a really ugly photo of me that's like from the worst angle possible, and I just won't care because that's what I'm like most of my time, and I want people to be able to see what I'm like most of my time rather than what I'd look like on stage all glammed up. So
Right.
I think I'm quite an honest I'd like to think I'm quite an honest person on social media.
Well, I think that that's good, because so many of us, we always want to put our best foot forward. But what about, like you said, the in between time or the real you? We don't.
Yeah,
I'm not a girl, but my haircut is not always cut all the time, or my beard is not lined up. Which 99% of the reason why I don't want to be on video today. But
yeah.
but being able to show people that you're a real individual, I think, is what social media is supposed to be for. And I think a lot of us lose sight of it.
Oh, exactly. It's exhausting trying to stay pretty all the time as well. I just can't be bothered with putting my makeup on every day.
What would you say is your ideal target market? Who are you trying to reach with your music?
Oh, ideally, I'd like everyone to be able to listen to my music, but it doesn't quite work that way, unfortunately. So I think the age range, like based on the sort of lyrics that I write, they're a bit more mature compared to say Billie Eilish or something, where obviously she's quite popular within the teenage sort of years. So I'd say my music's more popular within young adults, so 18 to, oh wow, normal adults would be, I don't know what that is, I don't want to insult anyone, like 35, 40, is that too young? Or
Hey, that's my age bracket. So
yeah, okay, well there you go.
so what are some of the some of the topics that you're talking about in your music?
So most of my topics are, I try and keep them upbeat and happy, because as much as I love listening to sad songs, I find when I'm writing a sad song, it puts me in more of a bad mood than if I was writing a happy song. So I tend to try and aim the direction within that way. So I'll talk about what makes me happy, such as summer, being on the beach. So the new track that I've just finished is called Blissful, and it's just about, well, bliss. It's just, yeah, it's, I like to talk about happy relationships, what it's like to be happy in a relationship. Yeah, just that typical basic white girl music.
What was that first time for you like in the studio when you actually your first time recording a track?
Oh my god,
Were
yeah, I
you
remember.
nervous? Were you excited?
I was so nervous, and I hated my voice at first as well, because it's so different hearing your voice up close in a studio
Right.
compared to singing live. It's insane, because you're picking out all the little things like, oh, you don't sound very nice. I still do it now, to be fair, but yeah, the first time I got behind the microphone in the studio, it was, oh my god, I was 13 years old, and I was at this place, it's a holiday park called Butlins, and it was for my 13th birthday, and my mum got me a studio session, and I remember I sang a Miley Cyrus song, The Climb, and if I could find that clip now, I reckon I'd make a fortune, because it's so bad. But it's the funniest thing, because it's the first time I'm behind a microphone. You can tell that it's not compared to anything that I do now, but it was the feeling that I got of being in the studio. I was like, this is what I want to do. Like, this is where I want to be spending my time. If I'm going to be earning money, it'll be the best thing in the world to be doing it behind this environment. Like, it would be insane.
So it's taking from that first experience, where do you feel like you've grown now as far as
Oh,
performance wise and recording?
oh, it's insane. I mean, from the first time I was in the studio compared to now, I mean, I can edit my own music now. I produce my own music to some standard. Nothing that I would want to release professionally, but like on my Instagram page, I'll produce my own covers, edit them, EQ them, mix them, all that sort of stuff. So compared to back then when I was 13, getting someone else to obviously do that um is, yeah, the difference is crazy, because it's not even that good of a mix back then either, compared to now, where the track that's going to be on my EP is so much more professional.
So where do you pull your inspiration from on the times where you don't feel like singing, or the days where you feel like, you may get negative feedback or not the feedback? If people aren't trying to be negative, but it feels negative, because the downside about being a creator is, we're very sensitive,
Oh my god,
especially with our
tell me
craft.
about it. Oh, I'm so bad. I'll cry at everything. I had I didn't and it wasn't an argument, but I had someone message me yesterday, actually, disagreeing with something on my social media, and it doesn't happen often at all, but the one comment out of hundreds of comments saying, lovely positive things about you, and there'll be one comment that stands out saying something nasty, and like, do you know what, I'm not having that. That's not fair. Take it to heart. I'm really bad at that. I really need to learn not to do that.
Yeah, but sometimes it's easier said than done, because when you're a musician or even just a creator, you pour your heart, your soul, and everything into it. Like you said, you lose sleep, sometimes you don't eat, you just go, 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 chasing
Yeah.
that. So to have some, butthole come and make a comment or not agree with you when you thought in your mind, you thought everything out from every single angle. And how did I miss this angle? It's almost like you're you're more frustrated at yourself that you didn't catch it before
Yeah.
somebody else could say it, but you're still
Mhm.
hurt that somebody else said it and they didn't see the beauty in everything else that you were doing.
That's exactly what I was thinking when I got the comment. I was angry at myself. Yeah, literally what you just said. Oh, yeah, there's gonna be I just kept repeating to myself, not everyone's gonna love you, and it's just the one thing you just gotta keep telling yourself. Not everyone's gonna like my music, and I've got to accept that. But there's more people out there that I know like my music compared to who don't. So it's just one of those things.
Yeah, and what I've learned is you've got to focus on the, 5, 10, 20% of people that do like your music. And those are the people that you have to focus on. You can't worry about, because there's some people who just won't like you because you're out there trying. And there are others that won't like you because you're
Yeah,
prettier than them, or people that won't like you because they didn't think of it first. But
yeah,
as you begin to stay confident in it and you become more relevant, and it's that confidence is what radiates and draws people in.
yeah, yeah. It's crazy. I never used to be like, if you saw me on stage a few years ago, at an open mic, I would have been shaking so bad. I couldn't hold the microphone. I was just like, ah. But compared to now, is crazy. And a lot of it was because I was scared of negative feedback, and I was more scared of negative feedback than messing up my performance.
Mm-hmm.
And it's as a performer, there's more pros than there are cons, thankfully. But I posted a quote on my Instagram the other day, and it said, there's always going to be people out there that don't like you, so you might as well just do what you want. And it's so true.
I noticed on one of the things that caught my attention on your Instagram, I think you were trying to measure your audience or something like that. I saw
Hmm.
what made you think of that? Was that something that, dealt with your education and that you're just trying to do a study or, because that's not something typical that you see musicians do. Most musicians are just like, listen to my music. Did you like my song? And that's what stood out for me.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, I was actually it was about my dissertation. So yeah, it was to do with my studies. It was an experiment I was doing for my final ever piece of coursework. So I done my dissertation paper on the benefits of social media and what social media, like if there's one social media platform out there that's more lucrative than the others. So yeah, that video was to see, I posted it on my other social medias as well, so it was to see how much response I would get from that video. The results were really interesting, actually. I wasn't expecting it at all, so that was quite fun. Actually, it was very different. It was something I hadn't done before, so yeah, it got quite a lot of attention.
Wow. How much attention did it draw?
Um, so I had to promote it as well as part of the experiment. So I was able to reach a wider audience. I gained quite a few more followers than before posting it. I've had a few more DMs, direct messages than I usually would get from
Mm.
people I haven't spoken to before, which has been really nice because I love talking to new people, especially if they're interested in my work. I try and message back everyone I can because it's nice to stay connected with people as much as you can. I mean, that I know people that will get a message or they'll comment on someone's work and they'll just completely ignore it. They'll accept the fact that someone's taken an interest in their work and just be like, great. But I think that's kind of rude. I think why not just say thank you or something? Like, why not just message them back, like show your appreciation?
Yeah, I never understood that either, but it's crazy.
Mm,
More independent artists are arrogant than people who are actually established. And you would
yeah,
think it would be the other way around. And don't get me
yeah,
wrong, there's some arrogant people that are established, but are they really arrogant or are they just guarded because they've been hurt so much?
yeah.
Because this
Completely
industry
agree.
is completely crazy, and sometimes you think you can trust people, and you can't.
Yeah, I've had that. I've there's been a lot of people that I thought I could trust in the industry and I haven't been able to. Some more personal than others. That's a completely different story, but yeah, I think I'll always have that though.
So when you look at promotion, there are a lot of different companies which I imagine are reaching out to you. Come buy some Instagram followers, or we can get your music on Billboard, or we can do this. As an independent artist, how do you weed through all the advertisement and decide what outside agencies you're going to work with?
So usually it's companies that will make the time to actually email me rather than message me through Instagram. I get a lot of companies that will message me through Instagram and be like, "Oh, I'll give you 20% off. Your followers can get 20% off if you sign up to this and that." And usually it will involve a cost as well. So they'll be like, you don't have to pay for any of our products. You just have to pay for the shipping." And I get that quite often, and it's sort of like, that's completely define the objective completely. Like I'm not gonna work with you if you're just in it for the money and not the actual exposure, because that's two completely different things. I'd rather get the exposure and not get any money out of it than the other way around, because you can get so much more out of exposure than just a little bit of money in your pocket. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Because it's, I mean, and that's the thing, you know, you have to promote, but it's a way to promote because so many people are just looking to have you spin, 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 spin. And that's one of the things that I like about working with KRX and radio is we actually get to invest into the artist and learn more about them, you know, and that's what we do here at Indie Top Live. And I think that that's important because there's a lot more that's going on and a lot of sacrifices that the artist is making. And
Mm.
most people, they don't really care about any of that. They're just like, here, let me sell you this, let me sell you that.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think people are losing the whole point of not performing. I suppose that's probably not the right term, but a lot of the time I will come across someone who will do gigs for money, which is obviously fine, it's their job. But they will refuse to do free gigs, and they will refuse to do open mics because it's unpaid. And the one thing that I've been having drilled into me throughout my entire career is networking is key. It doesn't matter if you're getting paid or not, you need to take any opportunity that comes your way. I've had to do free gigs before. I've had to, I go to open mics, obviously not at the moment due to the pandemic, but I will be there straight away when that's when that's an option again, because you need to meet new people. That's how you get to a level of success.
So what type of relationships are you looking to build right now in the music industry?
In the music industry, so like I just want to meet new people. I want people to be able to want to work with me, not because not because I might have a nice voice or they like my music, but because I want them to like me as a person. um I feel like I want to be able to work with people that I can build a friendship with, not just a business partner. I think actually I think you liking someone you work with is so important, because it's awkward otherwise. Why would you want to work with someone that you don't enjoy spending your time with? And I think that's I'm looking it sounds really awful, but I'm looking for friends.
But it's true because, you know,
Yeah,
you, you, Amy has a lot of friends, but Amy Jade, the singer, it's totally different making those type of friends because, you know, when I first got into the industry, you start to share all these different ideas and you look up and that's all your conversation is about is your craft as a creator. And
yeah,
there's only so much that your core friends can contribute to it because all they can say is nice song or I really like it. But then when you go after them, well, what did you like about it? And they're like, and then you start getting other opportunities. You're meeting producers or you're networking and getting invited to shows. It's only so much that people are going to want to come see the same set. It's a different set to you, even though you're singing the same songs. But
yeah,
building friends in the actual industry that understand, like, okay, I was in the thing with, you know, Tina Turner's guitarist, or here, you know, I was
yeah,
here and the Rolling Stones recorded this studio. People who aren't in the industry don't really understand that. And so
no.
I get it. You do lose kind of like the interest of your core friends and you're looking for more industry friends who are living the same vampire life that you are.
Yeah, yeah, literally. I was saying to someone the other day, I was like, obviously I'm 22. You would have thought at my age I want to go clubbing, I want to go out partying every night. I said I said to this guy the other day, I was like, I just love an early night. Like I like sitting down with a cup of tea and watching some TV before an early night. And I was saying it's really hard to find people out there that want to do the same thing as me, but also have the same interests as well. Because obviously I know a lot of people that will, you know, they'll want a career in music, but they'll also really want to go out clubbing one night instead of going to a gig or an open mic or something. And sometimes you have to balance up which is going to get you further. So
Right.
if I've got a gig, say I had a gig tomorrow, or say I had like a wedding to perform at tomorrow morning, would I choose to go out to spend time and have a few drinks with my friends at the pub, or would I choose to have a cup of tea, watch TV, and get an early night tonight? And sometimes you just have to make the rational decision. I mean, I prefer to have a cup of tea and get an early night anyway, but it's just, that's just who
I
I
agree.
am.
I agree. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you stay out late when you have to, when it's going to build an extra resource. And I mean, you
Yeah,
got to have some fun. But at the same token, sometimes you have to realize that the sacrifices that you have to make for the results that you want don't
exactly. Yeah,
include a lot of fun.
yeah, I completely agree.
It's more strategy and everything. So are you looking to build, or do you in fact have a team for your music, or is it just primarily you and your producer now?
So it's just me and my producer at the moment. I'm at the point where I would I'd love to build a team to be able to have more opportunities to get my music out there. Obviously, when it's just me, I'm emailing as many people as I can, as many agents as I can, to try and get my music out there. But there's only so much time in a day. There's only so much you can do. So a little help would be ideal, and obviously it makes the opportunity of getting to my goal not quicker, obviously, because you don't know when what's going to happen. It could happen, like I said, it could happen tomorrow, or it could happen in a few years. But having a team around you not only helps you to get to your goal quicker. I said quicker, no, I didn't mean that. What's the word I'm looking for? Easier, maybe. So
Yeah,
you
to
haven't
take
got as
some of the
much.
stress off of you of having to
Yeah,
wear so
there you
many
go.
hats.
That's what I was looking for. Yeah, it's not as much
Oh,
pressure on you. So like
right.
I could focus a lot more on my own my songwriting rather than promoting if I had a team around me. And I feel like, yeah, that would take the stress off, but I feel like my music would come out a lot better as well because I'd have more time to focus on it. But you got to do what you got to do until that opportunity comes around. So for the time being, I'm more than happy to carry on with what I'm doing.
So are you considering hiring a manager, or have you been approached by management companies? And if so, what has been your take on it?
Yeah, so I had a few years ago in 2016, I believe it was. I had an audition with a company from America. He was willing to be my agent at the time, and it all sounded very. I was only young, so it all sounded very exciting. He was like, "Right, we're going to take you to America. You're going to go to LA. You're going to get in front of all of these agents who work for Disney Channel and all this really cool stuff that obviously someone at my age would really love to hear."
Yeah,
And at the end of the day, it turned out to all be a complete lie, unfortunately. You get people like that out there just for the money. So it all went a bit tits up for me that year. Um, so yeah, I sacrificed my place at drama school that year because of what I thought I was going to end up doing with this agent, and it didn't work out in my favor. So I started from scratch after that, and I've just been trying to build up ever since. I mean, my ultimate, I'd love to just end up in LA, and if I can end up in LA, I'll be one happy British girl. Like just recording music in LA would be a dream. It really
and
would.
you're in the UK now.
I am, yeah.
Well, but that's a pretty thriving industry as well, though. The UK. I mean, I don't know. I'm from California, so LA is not, you know, is not what it is for other people.
I
For me, but
hear that a
the
lot.
same token, but at the same token, you know, I'd love to get where you are, you know, because I think that the music scene and the music vibe is a lot more opening and welcoming in the UK, at least from what I've seen. Having never been to the UK, I don't know. So you want to talk to us about that? What's it like?
I think, yeah, no, I completely agree. I've got nothing wrong with the UK, to be fair. I mean, the London scene, like the London music scene, is amazing, and I wish I could do it more often. But if you don't live in London, I suppose it's the same. I suppose my London is your California, your LA, I suppose.
Right.
If you don't live in London, it can be quite difficult to get in the scene, because the money it costs to get there, and then obviously most, as you probably know, gigs are usually late at night, so you'd either have to find accommodation to stay overnight or get a lift back in the evening, and it can be it can be very draining. And at the time when I was considering going to London to get my music out there, one, I didn't have enough original music, and two, I was still in my studies. So I would have to balance up, do I get this coursework done, or do I go to London for an open mic? And obviously I know what I want to do, but the decision would be that I'd have to do the coursework, because I'd be silly not to. Whereas now I would obviously choose the open mic now that my studies are finally finished. I'm so happy.
Right. And how, this whole COVID-19 just, took us for a left turn, you
Mm.
know, all throughout the world. So, and I know that I'm out here in Houston now, and we had opened back up our pubs, but then they quickly just got closed because I guess, too many scares and too much everything going on. But, have you thought about giving maybe virtual shows?
So I think I've definitely thought about it, but I suppose it's, you don't want to just you don't want to just put your camera on and just start singing. You want to be able to treat it like you normally would with an actual gig. So you want it to look pretty, you want to make sure you're prepared, you want to have a set list, figure out everything that you normally would for a normal gig. And it's putting in you've got to put in the same amount of time to do that as well. So the difference being, obviously now it's different because I have finished my studies, but I didn't have the time to be able to prepare for gigs when I was doing my education. So I'm quite excited to get back into that, and I'm so excited to get back into singing live again as well, because it's a completely different experience, singing live compared to singing to your camera. So
So what is your set list like?
it's a lot of like 80s tracks at the moment. So it does depend on what my customer would want. If I was at a wedding, obviously it'd be a lot more ballads on my set list. If I'm just at a pub, then it'll be a lot more 80s music. People like Bryan Adams a lot, so I tend to do that. Bit of Cher. But yeah, and then I'll obviously slip in my originals every now and again, but it's quite difficult to get the audience's attention with original music compared to songs they already know, because they obviously want to sing along, and they can't do that if they don't know your music. So if I can get to the point where people are singing my own songs with me like they would at a gig with covers that I do, that would be, oh my god, that would be amazing.
Well, you'll get there. You'll get there. You're not doing anything that other people haven't had to do first. Familiarity is always the easiest thing to do. And that's where the covers and everything come in. But then, like you said, you slip in your original music. And if you get a residency somewhere, well, people that are regularly coming, they'll start to recognize your song. Like, oh my God, she's about to sing this, and then next thing you know, they will be singing your songs. Sometimes you have to speak things into existence, even when it doesn't seem like they're getting ready
Yeah, I completely agree. I'll get there.
to happen. So, what do you think what has been your biggest accomplishment in music so far?
So
Or thus far?
so far, I think there's always one that stood out. When I was 17, I think I was at drama school, and I got the opportunity to sing at the SSE Wembley Arena, and it was part of a choir. So we sang this Disney medley, and we got up on stage, and it was people like Diversity were there, so they were doing like special performances. And I got up on that stage, and I honestly couldn't explain the rush of adrenaline of being in front of so many people on that stage is definitely the biggest achievement I've had to date, and I'm so grateful for that opportunity I got given. ever since I've been up on that stage, it sounds so cheesy, doesn't it? But ever since I've been up on that stage, I've always wanted to go back.
Yeah, because those are moments that propel you towards your greatness, you know. But
Yeah.
again, that comes with, you know, being friends with a creator or just being friends with just a regular person. Because they're two different types of people. Creators were very different in
Yeah.
emotion. Even though we try,
Yeah.
you know, we could be screaming at you the next minute and love you 10 minutes later.
I've nearly cried at weddings before when I've been performing. You've seen the groom and the bride just dancing along. You're just trying to keep it together while you're singing a song like "Be professional, don't cry." It's adorable, but don't cry.
So outside of music, what is Amy like?
So I love to surf. That
Oh,
comes as quite of a shock to people. So
I can
I'm
see it.
actually, pardon?
I said I can see it. Yeah, I can
Can
see
you?
it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm actually off to Newquay in Cornwall with my friends next week.
Mhm.
Do some surfing, so that's very exciting. Um, I like to dance. Well, I used to train professionally as a dancer, but I got some problems with my knees, so I can continue that. But I still love to dance, even though I shouldn't. What else do I like to do? I like to play on the Wii with my partner. So we literally, just before this interview, we were playing on the Wii together, and I won't admit it to him, but I'm such a bad loser. Like, we were just playing Mario Kart, and he was absolutely smashing it, and I was just doing so bad. But I won't tell him how good he is.
Oh yeah, that'll be our little secret. You know,
Yeah.
it's just, I don't know. I hate to lose too. It's just that competitive spirit.
Yeah, I'm such a bad loser. It's embarrassing. It really is. I need to control it.
Do you like to cook?
I recently, since the pandemic, actually, since lockdown, I've started baking. So that's like my new skill.
What's your best dish?
I make these like triple chocolate brownies,
Mm,
and my friends are always requesting them, which I think is a good sign.
yeah, those sound good. Triple chocolate brownies.
Yeah,
What
hopefully.
was what's one experience that you've had in your life that stuck with you, that you felt, you know, that you'll never forget?
Um, cool, blimey. I've had so many. That's a hard one. I think okay, so yeah, one that stands out. When I got my acceptance letter into drama school, um, it was I was 15 at the time, and I hadn't had any professional training before then. I had choreographed all of my dances myself for my audition. I had rehearsed everything by myself. I actually applied for the audition without telling my mum. So she just got a letter in the day saying, "Oh, congratulations, you got an audition." She was like, "Amy, what's this for?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I applied for for this drama school." And yeah, I obviously went to the audition, and I was one of 20 to get a place. So yeah, that was a moment that I will always remember because I wasn't expecting it.
What's one thing that you got in trouble for with your parents that you'll never, that you got
Oh,
a booking for?
there's too many of those. um, cool, blimey. I gotta be careful about what I say. Um, oh, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Like, I'm not saying I'm a perfect child, but I don't think there's that many things that
Okay.
I've done wrong.
What was that one
Um,
favorite outfit that you wore when you were in high school where you just felt completely confident, where you knew, like, okay, when I put this on, I'm the shit?
um, oh, blimey. Oh, my prom dress.
Mm,
I think that would have been a good moment actually. Yeah, when I put my prom dress on for the first time, I actually used my mum's. I was a bridesmaid for my mum's wedding at the time, and I used my bridesmaid dress and altered it to make it my prom dress. Um, so I was really happy with how it turned out, and yeah, I felt like the bomb in it when I turned up. I was so sassy that evening.
that is awesome. That is awesome. If you were, what's one thing that you would change about the world or the people in the world that you feel is important?
Okay, yeah, there's a lot of those as well, isn't there? Especially since the pandemic, I feel like a lot of people are quite selfish.
Mm-hmm.
It's very difficult to say this without insulting anyone, I suppose, but I think as a nation, specifically in the UK, there are people out there that are very selfish. Like when the pandemic first came along and everyone went into panic mode, they were like, right, we need to go to the shops, we need to grab everything that's on the shelves. And I remember seeing so many articles about the elderly that couldn't get to shops to get their food, and then when they did, there was no food on the shelves because everyone was grabbing it for themselves. And it just really made me think, like, people were panicking more about running out of food compared to, you know, the actual pandemic itself, like COVID-19. And it just really made me think about, like, no one really thinks about the people that are really struggling with food, so like people in Africa and stuff. And it's just like, it's crazy because, like, there's no way that we'd run out of food compared to out there where they don't complain. I mean, I'm sure they'd love to be in the position that we're in now, but
Or,
people don't look at it like
yeah,
that.
tremendously. You know, that happened out here in Houston as well too. And I mean, and even still now, we're limited on what type of meats that we can buy. I know for the
Yeah,
longest we were out of toiletries and hand sanitizer and alcohol and things like that. And I mean rubbing alcohol, not drinking alcohol. I don't want to sound like a lush over here.
yeah.
But it's just unfortunate how selfish, you know, people
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
And just not thinking about everything that's going on, you know.
I think it would be this world would be a lot better if we all just came together every now and again. Not all the time. Not everyone gets along, but I mean, you know, just be nicer. And it's as simple as that. It really is. Like, you know, it is literally just be nicer. Like a few weeks ago I had an argument with oh, I sound like such a bad person. No, I had an argument with this guy on Instagram the other day. I
No,
love
you
it.
sound like a real person, which is, you know, which means that I'm doing my job, you know.
Oh god, I probably sound terrible, but no, we were um we were at the shop a few weeks ago, and there was a guy in the queue behind us. And I don't know if it's the same in Houston, but they've put walls up, like plastic walls, to keep the tills separated.
Mm-hmm.
And
Same out here.
they do that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there was a young worker scanning all of this woman's shopping, and he was the only one on the till because they can't, you know, they can't have too many people out, so it gets busy and all that stuff. And this guy behind us was just having a huge go at this young lad who was just doing his job. He was saying, why can't you open another till? And, you know, first they make us wait outside and then they make us wait in here. And it's, I got, you know, when you can't help yourself, you brew and then you just sort of let it all out.
I do.
And I'm not the type of person, honestly, all of my friends would tell you I'm not the type of person to just let it out. But this guy, I just turned around to him, I was just like, he's just doing his job, don't be so harsh on him. And yeah, that kicked off a bit actually. After that, he didn't like someone sticking up for them.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you can't help but say something, and sometimes stuff flies out your mouth that you thought you were thinking, but you just can't believe that people are just such bastards, you know,
Yeah, literally.
for lack of a better way to say it. You know, you just, but you know, this pandemic has shown us, I think, what some people are really capable of doing. You
Yeah,
know, and for others,
yeah,
it's shown how compassionate others can be. And, you know, I didn't even think about it, you know, from the perspective of you, the people that are in elderly homes and what are they doing? You know, they already don't have any family visiting them, you know, and
yeah.
now they're limited on all the supplies and everything that they can get to be able to take care of themselves. And these are the ones that are more affected by the disease than
Exactly.
anyone else.
Yeah, exactly. But no one thinks about that. And once again, it goes back to being selfish. You don't think about the elderly who need it more than you do. But
Right. So what is the UK like? So when you aren't catching an early night, you know. What is the UK like? What are some of the top spots? Maybe to eat, maybe to listen to music. You know, what would you recommend?
Oh, okay. So when the restaurants are back open, I don't know if they are actually or when they open, but my top restaurant, that's my dog barking. My top restaurant to go to, ZZ's. I don't know if is there a ZZ's out in America?
Not in Houston. There might be some in America, but I've never heard of it.
Okay,
What
yeah, no,
kind of food do
ZZ's.
they serve?
I think it's like an Italian. Well, I think I should know. I've been there. It's an Italian restaurant, so you can have pizza, pastas, and um, they do so many different options. Obviously, gluten free. Oh, look at me! I sound like I'm paid promoting them or something, but I'm not. They're just their restaurants are so good. And their food is amazing.
Okay.
Um,
What are some of the spots to go listen to music or, for other entertainment or to shop?
So it's interesting because I live in a place called Southampton, so there's a lot of pubs around the area, and sometimes I prefer to go to an open mic at a low budget pub compared to a bigger venue where there's paid for live music. Obviously, any live music is great. If there's a scene, then I'll be there. But the atmosphere you get with an open mic when there's people like you who are upcoming artists trying to get their own music out there is a completely different vibe compared to someone who's already made it, if that makes sense.
I can dig it. I can dig it. One last question I need before we let you go.
Mhm.
Well, two questions. What's the biggest wave you've ever surfed? I meant to ask that. And
What's
how
the
did you
what,
get it?
sorry?
What's the biggest wave you've ever surfed?
Oh, blimey. Not big. Not as big as I'd like to say. um Maybe I think there was this one wave that I'll always remember because it was the best one I ever got, and it doesn't even sound that tall, but I think it was about 6 foot. um but it was unbroken, and I don't know if that people know what that term is, so like it hasn't already got the wave. It's really hard to explain, but yeah, 6 foot I think is the
Oh,
biggest I've ever got, which isn't
hey,
really that
that's
impressive.
bigger than any wave that I've ever surfed. All I know how to do is boogie board.
That's just as fun.
It is. It is. Once I finally got the aspect of it to learn how to get on the wave and surf back in, it's lots of fun. I just hate the water going in my nose when it doesn't go your way. But outside,
Yeah, oh, that's horrible. The one
yeah,
thing that we always say when we go there is the best surfer is the one that has the most fun. So you tell yourself that when you haven't got anything that day, but you've had fun.
and before we let you go, would you mind singing live for us here on Indie Talk Live, giving us a snippet of your voice?
Yeah, sure. Just thinking, what can I sing? Um,
Let's sing something, maybe some from your original collection to get our
yeah,
fans
sure.
used to your music.
Okay. Wanna be same place, same time when you're not around. Head is in the clouds all day and night, but you're keeping me on the ground. Nothing better than what we got, everything right here, right now. So let's take our time, tick tock, baby, let's slow it down. I don't know if is that enough?
Hey, that's a nice song. That's a nice one. Is that inspired by anybody?
Um, yeah. Oh,
Oh,
but
look
that's
at that smile. In her mind, she said, "Yes, Lord."
yeah, that's not yeah. Yeah, that song's called Not Around. It's actually out on all my social medias and Spotify, Apple Music. So yeah, go check it out.
Where can we follow you on social media?
You can follow me at Amy Jade's Music, and that's on all of my social platforms.
Okay, and how do we spell it for those who can't spell?
AMYJADESMUSIC.
Okay, Amy Jade's music. Man, it's
That's
been a
me.
pleasure having you here on Indie Talk Live, getting to know the musician, but also the woman behind the music. We want to
Thank
wish
you.
you the best success in your career. And be sure and check out her music on KRXM Radio. And she releases more information or more songs. We're definitely going to be streaming them here. This interview will be live probably within the next 48 hours. And it's been a pleasure getting to know you. Thanks again for calling in.
That's great. Thank you so much for having me. I've had such fun.
No problem. Be sure and follow us at KRXM Radio on Instagram and me on Instagram, Senor5150. I want to thank you again, Amy, and you have a wonderful afternoon or evening.
Thank you. Yeah, you too. Thank you. I'm going to go get Chinese.
Lucky I had that yesterday. Bye-bye.
Thank you.